Hi there, my name is Chris and welcome back to my channel where today I will be discussing the latest episode of Love After Lockup. Thank you so much for being a little patient in me uploading this edited review. When I went live on Friday, I was feeling a little sick, and then honey, when I woke up on Saturday, it got worse. Took me out. Took my shit out. So anyway, I did nothing all weekend except sleep, which I honestly think is the best remedy because I also take all the other remedies and I feel like I can't tell exactly which one works, but I feel like my duration was shortened. Honey, that could have been the elderberry, the propolis, the golden seal, the echinacea, the oil of oregano. It could have been the ginger, the lemon. It could have been counterattack, the manuka honey. I did everything. But I think really honestly, I just kept sleeping. Just slept and slept and slept. Roll over and fall asleep again. You know, put that phone on. Do not disturb. I so enjoy doing my lives with you. Thank you so much for everyone who comes to the party. It definitely feels like a party, and especially if you aren't going out on a Friday night, yeah, it gives you something to do, honey. So I am bewildered over the schedule of this season because supposedly we now have, after this episode that I'm going to review for you, one episode left until the season finale, which was said to me. But then I read another article that there's going to be a little break and then they're going to come back with 10 more episodes. So now I don't know what to believe, and up is down and left is right. All I know is I need more.
I need more.
Motherfucking Love After Lockup. She has a disease, honey. I mean, who do I have to marry around here to help me procure my drug? If there's a single male executive at Sharp Entertainment, hi, my name is Chris. Please send me episodes. Just like Lizzie, I won't sleep with you because I've given myself over to God. Titties. Actually, instead of titties, this is a full-on pink Eloise sweatshirt. Oh, honey. Okay, so let's start with Lizzie and Scott, shall we? This was a Lizzie and Scott heavy episode. And it starts with Lizzie going a-shopping with one of her friends who just got out of prison as well. And her name is Mel. And they're at a boutique, honey. And Lizzie's now not just spending Scott's money on herself. Oh, don't worry, she'll never spend Scott's money on Jazz. But she's gonna now just buy a brand new wardrobe for this woman, Mel. Okay, and Mel's skeptical, is he a trick? And Lizzie's like, no, he just wants to give me this money. And all he wants is a peck on the cheek every once in a while. And Mel's like, okay, but when in prison, when men give you money, we call them tricks. So what's the diff? You're out of prison? He just gives it. So, I mean, how am I supposed to say no? I can hurt his feelings. I would hate to hurt his feelings. I would also hate to be broke. Dual scene, honey. Scott's now on the phone with his friend, Shelly. Remember Shelly? I barely did. But Shelly is on break from nursing, and she has to pick up this phone call from this dumbass who's like, Shelly, I don't know what to do. I'm real broke. And Shelly's like, yeah, duh. And he's like, no, I mean, I'm even more broke now. I can't do anything. I can't pay anything, and everything's gonna come down on me. And Shelly's like, right. And he's like, I'm just afraid that if I tell her I'm broke, she's gonna leave me. And Shelly's like, uh-huh. I'm sorry, I have a patient in the next room that I have to save their life right now, and I've tried to save your life when I talked to you the first episode of this season and you did nothing. I'm hoping this patient actually takes my advice, so bye. Then we come back to the boutique and they have all their clothes ready to be purchased, and guess what? Lizzie's gonna use Scott's credit card and try and spend $1,900. The whole America is just what is going to happen for this transaction? Is it going to be declined? It should be declined. If they can't pay for a $200 meal, how's $2,000 going to be used? What kind of creditors just keep giving Scotty money? What kind of credit cards does he have? It can't be a Chase Sapphire, honey. We're now getting into the bottom of the brink. Whatever Rush card, remember when the Kardashians had a credit card? It's got to be something like that, honey. Miraculously, the receipt pops up and the transaction was a success, and it's shocking and approved. Then we go back to Scotty talking to Shelly, and then Shelly says, well, when you tell her you're broke, you better duck. And I was like, oh, because you think that like Lizzie's just gonna start punching at him? Like Lizzie's gonna be like, what do you want to tell me, Scott? And Scott's gonna be like, Lizzie, I'm actually broke. And Lizzie's gonna be like, you know, I don't know. Like, I don't think she's gonna risk going back to jail. You can't punch an ATM. I mean, I guess technically you can punch an ATM, but you're not gonna get cash out of it. Unless for some reason your punch is like a perfect 4-letter code for someone's ATM card that was already stuck in there. And then, honey, you're lucky. I mean, at that point, just go buy a lottery ticket because cash is supposed to come your way. Then we get a real quick scene with them where Lizzie, like, is back in the church. Like, they, like, wanted to give us the scene and, like, didn't want to give it to us, like, in the time continuum of actually how it happened, which was, like, the last episode. So Lizzie's back in that church from before with the titties out and everything, and she's, like, in the confession. And I am now like, there is no way the person on the other side of that confessional was a priest. But Lizzie sits down and is like, bless me, Father, for I have sinned. I'm just gonna keep going back and forth, doing the cross on these 2 titties. I used to masturbate every day till the point where I squirted. She said squirts. I swear to God, she says squirts. I ran around to hear what was blacked out, and it squirts. Daily squirting from masturbation, like, it must be really forceful what's happening down there. You know, aggressively masturbating with a clear intent to get at a certain spot. I mean, you know, I don't know what to say. I'm just gonna say this. I went to Catholic school my whole life. I believe in masturbation. I believe it's healthy and sexual. To say you can't masturbate is just some way in which to control sexuality at a hyper level. And it thus denies our basic humanity, which is we are sexual beings. I'm not saying that if you believe in no premarital sex, that is wrong. That's a choice for you to make. But masturbation is healthy sex. It's healthy. You can't get STDs. You can't get pregnant. You know, you can't hurt anyone else. Like, unless you are literally someone who is so addicted to porn and masturbation that it's happening all the time, then you have a sexual problem. But like, a little masturbation is part of life. It's like, breathe, eat, sleep, masturbate. Like, okay, all of these things are fine. I'm gonna also say this. It's like, I don't believe Christians that are like, I'm super born again Christian, when it's like, well, show me your works. Show me your works then. What are you doing to live like Jesus besides take someone's money? Lizzie, have you talked about wanting to like help reform the prison system? Have you talked about trying to help other women get off their feet who've come out of prison? Or have you talked about going to a shelter and like talking to women about domestic violence or some of the consequences of prostitution or ex-addicts or anything? Have you shared of yourself in any sort of Christian way besides taking this poor dumb man's money? No, you haven't. So that Christian word is just a label you're putting on yourself as some sort of excuse for not wanting to have sex with him. And also, if you really believed in Catholic and Christianity's very staunch views about sexuality, you would not be walking into a church with those titties out. Even if you wanted to walk around the town with those titties, you'd put a shawl on in the house of the Lord. Lizzie is gross. She gross. God, she has great skin though. Then we cut back and Mel and Lizzie come back to the hotel that Lizzie and Jasmine has been staying at. And Jasmine has just come back from a run, honey, and she has cute workout pants. And she's like, Mom, what's up? And Lizzie's like, hi. Oh my gosh, we just went shopping, me and Mel. You know Mel. I mean, you don't know Mel. But anyway, Mel's here. And we like spent $2,000 on Scott's credit card. And Jasmine's like, what? What? Why? And Lizzie's like, he said I could. And it made me happy. And I don't have any clothes. You have a room full of clothes, Mom. Yeah, but they're like not new. And don't I deserve something new? I've been in prison. And she's like, Mom, you've been spending money and his money the whole minute you've been, not only, you have been spending his money in and out of prison. So like, what's new? Why aren't you using any of that money to, I don't know, get us out of this hotel? Why aren't you trying to get a job? Get a job, you know? And Lizzie's like, jobs are for dumb people. I mean, jobs are for other people who don't have Scotty. Jasmine's like, you can be happy and like a normal person, and I wish you would. I wish you would just be a normal woman who is strong enough to like understand that they're supposed to enter society now. And by entering society, you have to do certain things like save a little money and get a goddamn job. Why aren't you normal? And your mom is never going to be normal. You're never going to have like a strong female role model be your mom in the way you want. It's just never going to happen. She doesn't have the capability. That's not her. When someone is a user and a manipulator, they're going to use and manipulate for the rest of their life because they have been given a way out, and work then becomes honest work, then becomes like a 4-letter word. And there's a lot of insecurity comes with not having actually earned an honest living for too long. But they can't face that insecurity if whether they're aged out of the job market or they don't have the skills or handle the rejection of going on job interviews. So anything else is ideal. And manipulating people for money and manipulating the system is better for them. Jasmine's like, I went on a run just now and I feel great. Why can't you just do normal, healthy things? And Lizzie's like, I like to shop with other people's money. Jasmine just like takes her in and is like, you're a greedy bitch. And you'll always be a greedy bitch. And it's like, oh, yeah, Jazz. Yeah, jiggity Jazz. Yeah, you got it. Hit the nail on the head, honey. Go home, take a shower. You're right. But it's all coming up to this confrontation that Lizzie and Scotty are going to have when Scotty tells Lizzie that Scotty doesn't have any money, and we'll see what happens with Lizzie and how she reacts. Honey. Okay, so our next throuple is Megan, Michael, and Sarah. And now I realize that Sarah looks like Brooke Hogan, which I didn't realize before, but very much she looks like Brooke Hogan. We pick up with Michael having gone to the airport to pick up Megan. It's a lot of picking up. And Megan coming down that escalator like, hi, hey babe, I missed you. And then like cut to Michael who's like, so then they hug and Megan's like, I missed you more than you missed me. And he's like, I know it. Then they laugh because what he said was true. And Megan had already landed, so what was she going to do, get back on a plane? I mean, she has a point to prove to her dad and everyone else in her church that this is supposed to work. So guess what? He's got to go visit his parole officer. Now, this is how it works. When he gets the call or when he gets the notice that or whenever he finds out that he has to go visit his PO, he has like 5 hours to do so. It doesn't take 5 hours to get there, but that's the time frame in which he knows about it and he has to get there. And in those 5 hours, he was like, I'm going to go pick up Megan and then we're going to go over there and everything's going to be okay. But what happened was he neglected his responsibility. His responsibility is to go see his parole officer. That is his. So then he tells Megan to put the address in her phone, get him there. What he should have done is make sure that the address and where they were going was in fact where he was supposed to go. That's on him. Megan's from not New York and doesn't really know this situation, honey. All she can do is put in an address and hope for the best. They start driving. It's a really cute neighborhood. It has like pastel houses. They pull over. Like finally the producer of the show like looks at their phone and is like, you're dumbass. You're supposed to be in I don't know. You're supposed to be here. It's 41 minutes away. You have 30 minutes to get there. And then suddenly it's a free-for-all for them to get there. They have like screeching noises. They have like car sounds. Like at one point, I swear to God, they use the exact same sound. You guys remember Clueless when Dion was learning how to drive and she gets on the freeway and they're not supposed to go on the freeway and you hear the like cars swooping past them. It's like the red BMW and then like a big ass like tanker truck comes behind them. Like, those sounds are happening while those sounds are happening while Megan and Michael are in the car. They're rushing. At one point, he asks Megan to, like, light me up a cigarette. And then he holds a cigarette in such a way, I'm like, oh, have you ever smoked? He's like, light me a cigarette. This is the way a lady smokes. This is the way a dude smokes. And what Michael did was like some other thing. I was like, are you just trying to act cool right now on the camera? Is it that you usually smoke joints and not cigarettes, but you couldn't say joint, and then so like you thought this one cigarette would do you? Megan, lighting that cigarette is like you sealing the deal for like how desperate you are to make something that should not work. Go back to your life that is not this. You don't deserve it. He has his own issues to deal with. And by issues, I mean literally issues as well as children and a wife and a mom who's not a fan of you. So what happens is they finally roll up to his PO office. He rolls up, they're already in front, all the police people are in front of the office, like they see him drive up, which I guess is a no-no. He's not supposed to be driving. They're like, get out of the car. I saw you drive up, you're not supposed to be driving. They make Megan get out of the car. They like search through Megan's stuff. She feels violated. I can't imagine how violating it was for her Fenty lingerie, in multiple jewel tones that she had packed. Those popo hands all over them. Yeah, and they're just like, we own him. He's property of New York State or whatever. And for someone who just like hasn't like been in the legal system in that way, it was really jarring to hear that verbiage. It was not the funnest part to watch. So what ends up happening is he gets arrested. He gets arrested because it wasn't his first time being late, and he was late, and probably because he was driving. And like Megan's just now back at a goddamn hotel, just like left reeling. We get to Caroline or Carolyn. Carolyn, his mom, is pissed. She's like seen this so many times before. She's like crying. She's like, why didn't he just go on time? I don't get it. And like Ajiana, his sister's frustrated as well. Like, how many times do you have to put up with this bullshit? You have 5 hours? Just go there. They know that he took at least 3 of those hours to go pick up Megan because she decided it was important to come that day. So because of that, Megan now has like a little bit of the guilt or like a little bit of the like responsibility, though she shouldn't, that one of the reasons why he is now in jail is because he went to go pick her up instead of going to the parole officer. Okay? That's really not on Megan, but I think that's sort of how Caroline feels. Plus, she already doesn't want Megan in the picture because Caroline has set her sights on the fact that Michael should be a man and respect Sarah, his wife, and the already mother of his one kid that's out of her vagina, and also the mother of the child that is inside of her, that he put there with all of his baby-making ways, without a condom, which was his choice right out of prison. Okay, so Caroline, and I think one of the better parts the producers forced to happen, has to go to Megan's hotel room. And it's a showdown, honey. She knocks that door, honey. And she is there to deliver a message. More like a voicemail. It feels like Michael's mom wants to deliver a voicemail, whereas like, we know you give a voicemail, like no one talks back. You're just like, hey Megan, it's Carolina's mom. So I found out that he's in prison, except that Megan keeps talking back to the voicemail. Megan's like, what prison? And Caroline's like, I don't know. So anyways, what I know is this. He's in prison. I don't know anything else. That's all I have to say. So what prison? I don't know. All I have to say is what I've said. But can I have a hug? And Caroline's like, okay. So she hugs Megan, who wants some warmth, I'm sure. Caroline isn't happy about it. Caroline goes on her way. She's like, sorry, that's all I know. And if I knew anything else, I wouldn't tell you. I know more. I'm not gonna tell you. I told her what I had to tell her, and now she can go on her way. And poor Megan, all she has to do is just lie with all her brand new Fenty lingerie with all the Popo's fingerprints all over it and wonder what if. What could have been. All the back shots. Oh, the lovemaking wasn't supposed to end like this. Not for her. So then Caroline goes back and has lunch with Sarah. And Sarah's like, who do you think you're going to see today? Why ask that to your daughter, who very much is like, Daddy! And she's like, oh, no, not Daddy. Daddy's going back to work. See, Daddy's been cutting an album like Kanye does for 4 months in Wyoming. So his work takes up a lot of his time. Caroline is there, honey. She sits down, and Caroline's trying to be a little peacemaker and trying to be like, okay, he didn't throw it away. It's just prolonged, you know, but Sarah's been there for 6 years, honey. She knows. And she knows something's up. And then she vows, I'm going to check his phone. Something didn't add up here. I got his phone. I'm going to check up on his phone. Just leaving a little hook for how she's going to get in touch with Megan for next week. Meanwhile, Aviana is playing one of those dumb, like, trying to catch a stuffed animal games with those stupid hooks that never gets you anywhere. It's such a metaphor for lost relationships. As many quarters as you put in that machine, and as hard as you move that hook, and if you think that hook is right above the thing that you need so badly, it's gonna go down and still come back up empty, Aviana, and that's life. Learn it now. And then we move on to Matt and Caitlin. They're having real shitty times. This is what's basically happening, okay? So Caitlin's mom passed away, and it's very, very sad. And Matt has been unable to get a job, or much less even put a foundation of any kind to make Caitlin think that he's ready to A, get married, or B, move out of his parents' house, or C, provide a life for her. Caitlin's going through it because of her mom's death, and in doing so, she is like trying to hyper-control situations she can, because she couldn't control the fact that her mom died. And she feels very, alone, and she feels unheard, and she feels like Matt's not doing enough to be there empathetically and sympathetically for her. Matt is hearing her be attitudey and controlling, and they're just bumping heads instead of bumping what was bumping when they first met out in the woods. So Kathy has made Matt like a full-on Kathy breakfast buffet. There's tater tots, there's bacon, there's eggs, there's French toast. I mean, that woman has been cooking with a cast iron skillet since probably 5:30 a.m. Matt going to town with that fork, honey. So happy, growing boy. Caitlin's like, did you put the thing in my car that I told you to put in my car? And Matt's like, no, I didn't know if you want me to do it, but I can do it right now. And she's like, oh, I wanted you to do it when I asked you to do it so I could just leave. And you can hear Kathy be like, it's not a big deal. He can do it right now. Matt gets up, puts the thing in her car. So then Caitlin's like, and can you please get rid of the trash can so I don't bang into them? And he's like, anything else? And she's like, no, not anything. Everything's, no, that's fine. Thank you. And then she like starts to pull out, and then she's like, hey, come here, come here. You know, can we do everything without fighting? And can we do things without being tense? And it's a little bit like, you're both doing it. You're both asking each other in really tense ways to not be tense with each other. Now, Caitlin, I get that you have like a reason, like you're going through it, but also like check yourself. You're being mean is what I'm trying to say. You're also being tense, and he's reading that. He's dumb. You are with a dumb man that's been in prison and has never had a relationship, thanks to Kathy, who has now told us he has never had a relationship or a girlfriend. But it's like, he's just a dumb motherfucker, you know? Like, you tell him to, like, do something, he's not gonna do it, and then you tell him to do it, and he did it. She's trying to pick a fight because she feels some type of way that he's not there for her, and he doesn't get it because he's not a very sensitive person. Because when you're in jail, you can't be, like, super sensitive, you know? Okay. So then, honey, they go to the funeral place, and Caitlin's mom has been cremated, and there is a funeral director slash grief counselor, honey, slash couple counselor slash saint, okay? Her name is Coretta, and Coretta is going to do literally the Lord's work in this scene. She gets them both to sit. Caitlin can't even look at Matt. She's like sitting back facing Matt. Coretta's like, I am so sorry, Caitlin. Do you have any questions? And Caitlin's like, no, I don't have any questions, but if I do, I'll email you. You've been great. And Coretta's like, oh, thank you. What do you need right now? She's just like, I just need some help from Matt. And then Coretta's like, okay, and looks to Matt and is like, you know, how can you help her? And he's like, I don't know. I never had a girlfriend. She's like, oh. He's like, yeah, I've been in prison like this whole lifetime. So this is new for me, this whole like feelings and having to deal with other people's feelings and a woman and death and, you know, being outside, breathing this air, all of it new. I don't think we're giving Matt like the credit to the fact that that must be very hard for him. He is a career criminal who has said, admittedly, he's more comfortable in prison. And he's not in prison and hasn't been for like 7 weeks. And in those 7 weeks, he's now having to deal with his mom, this new girlfriend, all of their like wants for him, whether he feels inadequate or insecure that he can, you know, be what they think he is. I mean, listen, no one is a saint except for obviously Coretta in this episode, but it's like everyone is dealing with trauma in their own way, the best they can, and they're going to take 2 steps forwards and 1 step back. They come together because opposites attract, and you know, it ain't fiction, just a natural fact. They come together because opposites attract. Okay, I'm sorry, I had to. This therapy session does not go well. It kind of reminds me a little bit of like Darcy and Jesse from 90 Day because they kind of just keep both jumping up and leaving the room and then coming back, and one of them has to like be on the other side of the cubicle to like listen. I mean, and then they're just like interjecting. It's not going well. And Coretta is like, oh my God, I need to get paid like $1 billion more for this scene than I thought I was going to get paid. You better be putting the name of the funeral home, honey. I better have a chyron at the end of the fucking episode where the credits roll. There should be special thanks in my name. Pretty much nothing is resolved. And we go on to the next couple, Tracey and Clint. Okay, so Tracey now has been arrested twice since their wedding. Open up on Clint and his cousin, Brody, getting in Clint's car and driving to where Tracey is. We found out that Clint has hired a lawyer for Tracey and for some reason was given information that he could see Tracey that day. I don't know from the lawyer or from his own mind or why that would be, but he gets in this car and is like gonna go see Tracey. And in this conversation with Brody, he's like, I don't know, best case scenario, she could be in for 10 months to a year. Worst case scenario, 20 years. Quite a gap of possibility. Brody looks like a 20-nothing drug dealer. I mean, I don't have to say. You know what's a little bit confusing about Clint is this. Alice and Clint's dad own what looks like a poppin' grocery store. And it feels like Clint and Brody are on a different social economic level than Clint's parents, in the sense that they both look like drugged up meth head freaks. I mean, Brody's like passed out practically, like he hasn't showered in days. Clint always has cuts on his face, okay, from who knows what, okay. I just like don't quite understand it or why, but I don't think I'm supposed to. But I need to call it out because something has to fill this video more than me singing. Brody doesn't get it. He's like, you paid for her lawyer and all the gas and everything. Like, you're so dumb. But he's gonna be dumb. He's still gonna love her. So then he gets a call from the lawyer once he gets to where Tracey's being held. And the lawyer's like, yeah, you can't see her. You know, and then what Clint does is he gets out of his car and decides to throw his phone into like some patch of land, which he then has to go retrieve because it's his phone. He just throws a temper tantrum like a 5-year-old. And now Clint's upset that he's wasted gas and time. Okay, now on to our actually very last couple, the last couple, I promise. Brittany and Marcelino. Okay, so things are looking up for Brittany and Marcelino. It's been Giovanni's first sleepover, you know, and they are playing out in the jungle gym, and Marcelino looks really comfortable with Giovanni. It helps that Giovanni is the cutest thing I've ever seen. Like, so sweet, so cute, so smiley. Like, it really makes a difference when you have like a smiley baby who's like not like pissy all the time. And Giovanni is just running up and down, and Marcelino's playing with him, and it's like bringing such joy to Brittany. And as she's looking at Marcelino playing with her son and being pregnant, she says that her Amanda, like, that was a thing, but she's moved on and she's in a different place now. And she's very excited for Giovanni's first sleepover. They've procured a new place. The place they procured is one whose walls are cinder blocks, which I don't know if that was triggering for Brittany, or if she like got in that place and was like, we gotta wallpaper this shit quick, you know. But they make a little bed for Giovanni to sleep. I don't know if this was the best choice, but the bed is literally right by a power outlet with no like guards on it. Just, if you see this, just move that bed, you know. It's like, because if I was a kid not wanting to sleep, like up against a wall, like the first thing I'd be like, what's that? You know, I don't have a kid. Just like put things on the outlets so they can't put their thingies in. And finally, Brittany gets to come clean to Marcelino that she is pregnant, because she's already told a lot of other people. If you saw my live, I thought was weird. It's like kind of weird to tell multiple people that you're pregnant without telling the person that helped make the baby with you, especially if you are still in a relationship with that person. But she's like somehow scared to tell Marcelino, and I don't know why, because Marcelino seems very much like the type of guy that's not going to be like, you made a baby? No, more like, I made a baby! My dick and my fertility made a baby, and this woman, you're mine now, woman, with your baby, and my baby is the baby, you know, whatever. So Marcelino is happy, you know, is like, great. And then Marcelino is like, let me see the stick, I want to see if it's a boy or girl. How do you not know that you can't tell that on that stick? Did someone lie to him earlier on in life and say that? And then, you know, she brings out the stick that she peed on, and the stick is pink, and for a moment I wondered if Marcelino thought, shit, it's a girl. But he just seems like he's sexist, and that's why I said that. But it's actually very cute. They hug, and look at this brand new family. Brittany seems somewhat happy to be in whatever stableness that Marcelino's providing. You know, even if it's a controlling stableness that doesn't want her to be with her girlfriend or express any of her bisexuality. But, you know, right now it's working for I almost called Brittany Marcelino. That's their name. I mean, obviously, if like they all had couple names, their name is Marcelino. Just like Clint's and Tracey's would be Clint. Megan, Michael, and Sarah are my Mayra. I don't know if I can go through all of this. This is a nightmare. Why did I decide to do this? Lizzie and Scott. Slizzy. Oh, that was fun. Who am I missing? Oh, Matt and Caitlin. Maitland. Yeah, that's it. Can you believe it? I can't. Y'all, thank you so much for being on this road with me and watching these videos and liking and commenting. The liking and commenting really, really helps me, truly. The way that it works is that when you like and comment, YouTube thinks that I put up a really great video, and it shares the video with others. And when it shares the video with others, more people get to see that, in fact, I exist on this platform and am making content. If you haven't noticed, I'm not like a huge YouTuber. I have less than 5,000 subscribers. I mean, you know, like the first tier is 10,000. I'm not there yet, honey. I'm not even close. So it really means a lot, like every click, every comment, every like, every share. And that's why I have to like beg for it on all these videos. Straight up. Now tell me, do you really want to love me forever? Oh, honey, I'm feeling Paula Abdul today. It's been a weird couple of weeks, I think, for us. Keep the people that love you close and tell them and share your warmth and light, not only with the people you love, but the people you come across with every day, the people that give you your coffee and the people that open a door for you. Like, make meaningful connections. When we are reminded of each other's humanities and each other's lights and warmths in that way, it builds something within us that kind of combats the negative shit. So I think we can be little warriors in that and make sure that as humans, we know like we got each other's backs, that the good far outweighs the bad. So in that vein, be kind to yourselves and to each other, stand up for what you believe, and make art, okay? I love you all so much. Bye.